XRP has been consolidating for seven years, and I encourage you to take this video as offensively as you possibly can to the Ripple army. Here we go. This is the shittest of all of the shit coins that I think I've ever come across, and there are a lot of shit coins in this industry. And the reason that this one's the shittest is because it's the most centralized banking CBDC bullcrap that exists right now, and it also happens to be very big, and it's got a very, very extensive history of manipulation, and it's also full of just pump and dumps. There's actually a lot more that I can say for why this is a total nonsense shitcoin. And the reality is that XRP army people don't understand this, but we're going to be evaluating this against the checklist that we talked about to see if this is a coin that can actually recover in this current market cycle. There's a lot to go through here, and there is also the technical chart, which I think is most important, but we're not going to start with the technical chart. We're going to start with everything else for XRP. That does start with the technical chart, because the very first factor that we need to talk about is if this is in a bull market. And obviously, we understand that crypto itself is in a bull market right now. Bitcoin itself is in a bull market right now. In fact, many alts are also gaining some strength right now. They're not necessarily trending high or doing anything particularly impressive, but they're gaining a little bit of strength right now. So we do have bull market type energy going on in the space at the moment. But as far as a specific bull market for XRP, we're looking all the way back to 2016 on this chart. It's the same chart that we've got back here. And XRP, I mean, yeah, it got this big leg up and it's held it for 7 years. So I guess that's impressive. But I mean, beyond that, there's not really much more of a bull market going on this chart. So is this condition valid? I mean, it's valid because crypto is in a bull market, but XRP is not in a bull market. I'm going to say it's kind of valid. It's kind of a 50-50 to me, because it's not a hell, for me, it's a hell yes or it's a no. It's not a hell yes, so it kind of just falls down into the no category in terms of being in a bull market. But in terms of dev activity, we know that this is a big deal, right? I mean, a coin is much more likely to survive if it's got kind of thriving dev activity. And if we take a look at this, ignore this Ethereum stuff. If we take a look at this right here, this is a kind of look at the ongoing projects and the things that are kind of in the pipeline for XRP, for the Ripple Foundation here. And it's okay. I mean, it's doing fine. I'm not going to dive into all of the intricacies of what this means, but what you need to really be worried about is the ranking that XRP has here on the left-hand side, and it's position 47 out of all crypto coins. You can see that Cardano is one of the coins that's most worked on: Ethereum, ICP, Arbitrum. These are not surprising, but XRP, comparing itself to its stature, I mean, XRP is a really big coin. It's not doing great. Is it active though? Absolutely. So I'm going to give this a yes. It is a valid dev activity situation here. As far as use cases go, obviously we're dealing with a coin which is married to the legacy banking system, and it's the main reason that I think this coin is bullshit, because crypto is decentralized in by nature and by philosophy, and so to deviate away from it, you've got to be very arrogant, but also you probably just haven't understood things, and you probably want to hurt the industry. Whether or not you want to hurt it, XRP does hurt it. That's my opinion. It's only an opinion. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely very, tightly integrated with a lot of, long-standing systems. And so in terms of use case and specifically what it promised, it's currently serving it. It's not actually serving it very well, because its big move up 7 years ago was because of this stuff. And the idea was that this would actually happen at a big scale. And since, the last 7 years, that hasn't actually happened. So it hasn't done it very well, but but it has done it. And so to me, that's going to get a pass on the use case situation. Obviously, we're also always going to be evaluating these coins against, their community, right? Because the community question is also very important. And if we're able to see a vibrant community, that's going to tell us a lot about if the coin is actually strong. And then from this perspective here, if we take a look at XRP, we've got a profile that's posting tweets, a couple times, 5 times a week, something standard. They've got good engagement, and they've got a huge army. They've got, one of the biggest, most ridiculously stupid cohorts of support in the crypto industry. So as far as community goes, while they might be at the bottom of the pit in terms of intelligence, they have lots of numbers, and that's what you need to pump. You guys need to understand that when I talk about coins like XRP, I really, make it fiery and fun, but I'll still trade it, right? I mean, if it looks like, I can make some money off it, 100% I'm still going to trade it. We're going to get to that in a second, though, because that's what ultimately kills XRP, as you can kind of tell where this video is going. We'll get there. But as far as engagement goes, there's a lot, and that obviously ties into marketing, right? I mean, if we take a look at the Google Trends data that we have available, we are seeing a little bit of an upsurge right now, just kind of alongside everything else. I guess what's interesting is that you're seeing, a little bit of Ireland, Australia, Cyprus, Netherlands. These are better countries to be seeing in terms of interest by region if you're interested in banking and, the things that XRP was kind of designed for. So that's a good sign. And so, in terms of the fundamentals, because this is, it's a two-part thing, evaluating if a coin is going to recover. In terms of the fundamentals, it passes on most fronts. It doesn't pass super well on some. It passes very well on others, like community. And I would say community is actually most important. So, it's scoring pretty well there. But where XRP really falls short and where it really becomes quite a bad chart is its chart. I mean, if we take a look at what this is actually telling us, it's been, this is the only major coin. It's quite impressive. It's the only major coin that hasn't done anything over the last 7 years. And there is a lot of speculation that actually this is kind of turning into a 7-year pennant, which is going to have the most beautiful revenge comeback stories ever, where your ex is now going to leave her new boyfriend and just come running back to you because you were right all along. It's not you that was wrong. It's the market that was wrong this whole time, and everything's going to be perfect for you. And then this is kind of what, these XRP army soldiers are getting their lotion out for now. And I can understand them. It definitely looks cool. The thing is that these things, in order to keep it sensible, they need to be proportional. And so what I like to do is I like to kind of measure, how high this thing has gone from its kind of low, coming into the flagpole. Because the reason that that's interesting to me is if you see that this flagpole is just so hilariously short compared to the pennant, then what that can actually tell you is that, you're not actually looking at a pennant here. You're looking at a coin that, for 7 years of price history couldn't get a fucking breakout, because that's what actually happened. The reason that this is important to me is because if you're actually going to be maintaining an uptrend, which was kicked off with this big move here, if you're actually going to maintain this uptrend, then you need to continue it eventually. I think this was a great opportunity for XRP to continue it. It was that 2021 breakout where everything else pumped. Ethereum was doing very well back here, and it did very well back here, for example, right? So Ethereum's a coin, as an example, which is also a major. It was always basically number 2, number 3 next to XRP. It actually did set the all-time highs, right? And so that tells you a lot about if the coin... This is an interesting video because it's not actually that clear of an answer. Because if the coin can actually recover, then it would have in the next subsequent bull market cycle. But it didn't, right? It didn't even recover in 2019. We had a mini bull market in 2019 where Bitcoin hit $14,000. XRP didn't do shit. And so, it didn't even do anything there. And so it's failing on all of these technical factors so far. It's scoring really badly because the other thing that this means, comparing it to the proportionality of its uptrend, is that XRP, it just floated sideways for 7 years. It just never broke out of anything. And this is what happens oftentimes with coins that are just not that interesting, right? They don't, just because a coin has failed in terms of making you money, it doesn't mean that it has to just, drop like a stone and fall down, forever like many other altcoins have. Sometimes it just means that, you form really nice kind of, triangles, let's say, that look something a little bit like this, where you're kind of trading really nicely in them, but then you don't really do anything with it. And you just kind of trade sideways, and then you expand again later on, and then you kind of back to sideways, which is basically what this chart did. Expands a little bit and then, back to nothing. So, in terms of this perspective, the money is made here or here, because this is where the volatility comes in. In other words, what have I done? In other words, the the money is made, wait for it, here, right? Or here. And so if that's what you're banking on, then actually I do think XRP can do this again. And I do actually think that XRP will have a chance to get another big breakout. So in terms of like, will altcoins recover? Will XRP recover? Not in the same way as the rest of the altcoin market. I don't think so. But in and of itself, in its own way, will it recover? Yeah, I think so. But recover is a tricky word because recover implies that it's going to reach its all-time high and that it's going to surpass its all-time high. And in that case, no, I'm not actually that confident. I think that, XRP is very much a one-trick pony. And all XRP has done since the last 7 years is it's produced a series of very high-profile and some low-profile pumps and dumps. But that's all it does. Its entire chart is just this followed by shit for a very, very long time. Let's put this in perspective, all right? Because, we're just looking at this in the chart with a lot of distance, but this is 230 days of nothing happening with 160% pump in between. And we really have to zoom in and understand just how ridiculous this chart actually is. You're talking about a chart that pumps up by 60%, but it only lasts 8 days, and then it takes an entire 36 days to retrace that entire shit move back down, and then you're just trading sideways from there. Your maximum fluctuation realistically of 15% for the next 100 days, and then suddenly you get a really, really nice 60% pump. It only lasts 6 days, and then you're right back to shit, and now you've retraced it all again within 90 days, right? So actually, it took a little bit less time than that. You retraced it all within 60 days, and then you keep trending lower. And that's just been that's been XRP's trend for 7 years, right? It just does absolutely nothing, and then a really big spike, and then it's kind of a little bit crazy afterwards. Maybe, something a little bit like this, but then it just kind of slowly fades back down and gets even lower, and then, we get another really big spike, and then it kind of, and this is Ethereum's chart. This is Ethereum's chart against Bitcoin. And it's a really bad chart. It's one of the most bearish charts you could ever have. But instead of it being on a Bitcoin chart right now, it's on a USD chart, which is even worse because this means if you just held XRP, you've even been losing money against inflation, depending on where your entry is. Over the last 2.5 years, going back to the beginning of 2022, XRP has been on a very, very slow uptrend. So far from its low to its current price, it's gained a whopping 2x return in 2.5 years. So probably on track with some measures of inflation, depending on what you're looking at. Some things have doubled in price over the last kind of like 2 to 4 years. And so we are seeing, again, quite abysmal performance on this particular time frame as well. But we're also not seeing a change in characteristics. It's still got the exact same characteristics. And so if we come back to the question of will this coin recover, these are not recoveries, right? You can get a big spike like this, but this doesn't count as a recovery because you just lose it all afterwards. When I talked to you at the very beginning of this video about XRP having a long history of manipulation, this is what I mean. There's no way that this shit is getting caused by organic price action this much, right? Almost every time when you see, crazy Bart Simpson head-shaped patterns like this, almost every time when you see that, that is actually a sign that there is market manipulation going on in this market right now. And XRP is just full of it. And on top of that, supply can just be printed at any time by the Ripple Foundation. It's just a big steaming pile of shit. It's just a mess. And I think that, at best it's got its potential to, pull off another scam pump like this. But I don't think it's going to be anything more substantial than that. And I would expect it to kind of return back to mean. I'd love to be proven wrong because, bless them. I'm so mean to them. But the XRP army, they've been waiting so long. And so, for them to get the all-time high would be quite fantastic. But we've also just got to keep in mind sizes, right? Sizes of these markets. I mean, if we take... I'm just curious, is it even on... Is it even on this website? I don't think it is it? Yeah, but if you do take a look at it in terms of market cap, we can kind of pull that up if we want to look at it here. I'm sure I can find that pretty easy. Actually, we got market cap dominance. That's arguably much more interesting. But this is quite a big coin, and this was ultimately the kind of problem that I was describing even 6 years ago when I was making videos on XRP a very, very long time ago, we were actually talking about how, XRP, if it does start to pump up by more than this, it's just going to get to such astronomical market caps that like don't actually make sense, right? If we look at XRP now, it's obviously lost a little bit of its lead because it hasn't really moved by much, but we're looking at a $32 billion market. If it pulls a 10x gain from here, it's going to be worth $5.70, which is conceivable because Ethereum is worth $380 billion. So, we can accept, a half a trillion dollar market cap. That's, for crypto, it seems like that's doable now, but it would have to get much higher if it surpassed its all-time high, for it to be a meaningful, because if it surpasses its all-time high, you want it to at least double, right? So it's going to have to get much higher than that. $10 was kind of the big prediction, for XRP back then. And in that case, you're looking at this market cap, pulling a 20 times gain. Which I just don't think is going to be sensible or feasible. And by the way, I got my numbers wrong. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah, $320 billion. That would be its market cap if XRP pulled off a 10x, and if it pulled off a 20x, you're looking at about $640 billion. So that's where we're coming into half a trillion. And it just gets gradually more and more crazy, right? XRP has effectively missed out on one bull cycle. So I would want to see, for XRP to actually do something impressive in line with everything else, I'd want to see, a $15, $20, XRP. And then it's just, like at that point, everything's just going to be so inflated for XRP to get there that I just don't see it happening. The bottom line that I got to leave you guys with on XRP, and I think this is the most important thing that I can say about it, is that in practice, people who've been looking for this pump to happen, right, this 7-year pennant for it to break, they haven't gotten it. Could it come? Yes. If it does come, could it break its all-time high? Yes. If it breaks its all-time high, could it get to $10 or $15 or $20? Yes. All of those things could happen, but none of them have happened. And while none of them have happened, everybody else has been making money. So, that's ultimately for me what defeats XRP and makes it very, very weak to look at. It's not any of the things that I, joke at it for. It's just simply the fact that there are better picks. There are coins that actually have been doing something, that actually show signs that they're going to continue to do something, and so on and so forth. And to me, that's a really big difference. And because that's a really big difference, XRP gets a resounding fail here. I don't think it's going to recover. I don't think it's worth even looking at. And then in the event that it did recover, it was still just point blank an inefficient place to keep money. The only way I can be proven wrong here is if it, just rapidly, rises far beyond $10. And I think XRP Army is going to be stuck waiting a good while, for that to happen. Very quick interruption here for XRP BTC because I didn't include it in the video. And I think this is kind of XRP's only, real good hope in this market. I think it's actually looking really, really good for XRP. And this really kind of changes the picture a little bit. Overall, it doesn't change my opinion, but it will change some other people's opinions. This is a clear bottom. I mean, it almost has to gain value against Bitcoin. I don't know how much it's going to gain, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. But this chart in particular looks abundantly clear. If, however, XRP loses this level, which it has tested since 2014, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and more times if you want to get even more particular about and more technical about how you count it, which I think would be smart. It's well over 10 times that XRP has tested this level. Eventually levels that get tested too many times end up breaking. So we really have to keep an eye on this. I'm not saying that it's going to break now. I think that even if it's going to break, it's probably going to do something a little bit like this, and it's just going to be slow about it. But I think this is worth looking at. I'm still expecting Bitcoin's dominance to rise, and if it does, I think that could really cause problems for XRP, and it will well and truly, very, very, very officially be very, very dead if it gets below this yellow box, and that's at about 550 Satoshis. So that's just my opinion, but that's how I feel about it. Bitcoin. So there you go. That's my XRP analysis. As you already know, if you want to trade these markets, check out the links in the description below. If you want to trade these, if you want to trade XRP or Ethereum or whatever the deal is, you're going to get free money to trade them when you check out these exchanges. Check them out when you start trading. Is when you're going to get the money. And then obviously, if you're not from a restricted region, you can use them. If you are from a restricted region, you won't be able to. So check out all of that stuff just to make sure that you're allowed to. But yeah, with that, I will see you all in the next one.